What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to today's pre-analysis of tomorrow, Tuesday, the 24th of June. Now, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day because of multiple factors, and I want to dive straight into this. So, first of all, let's take a look at the news. We don't have nothing too serious tomorrow. We do have Canadian CPI. It shouldn't be too much of an impact. But the main thing I'm looking at is our 9 a.m. news, right? We have Mr. Powell's testification. He's testifying at 9 a.m. tomorrow Central Time with a possible 8:30 Eastern Time text release. So we have to see when it occurs, but nonetheless, we do want to be very careful and be aware to even decide if we're going to trade or not, because this is going to be a very, very important meeting. They're going to go over Iran's impacts on the economy and everything crazy that's been going on in these last few weeks or even months. So he's going to be going over all of that in his speeches as he testifies in these next few days. I believe it's tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday. Just tomorrow and Wednesday. So it's going to be very careful. We have to be very careful this week and see what the market may give us for this week. So let's see what we can do with that. But tomorrow, as we have mentioned, the main news is just 9 a.m. We have all of this news at 9 a.m. Definitely going to be avoiding trading at that time, 100%. But you're going to be doing pre-day analysis simply to continue the practice, and you don't want to stop doing it even if Powell is speaking. We still want to get in the reps, get in the practice as much as you can, because it will help you more than it will hurt. So let's go ahead and do this. And we were actually mistaken heavily. What happened to price was that it did not push down. What happened was that it actually swept this lower area, and that was this gap down that we saw, and then price was unable, so it just recovered and we pushed all the way up till here. A reason for such a big move up, in addition, was also because of the big news announcement that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire deal. And because of that, the economy liked it and pushed the prices up. So now potentially the market has shifted to more of a bullish standpoint. We've broken all of this structure towards the upside, and we're heading straight towards this upper liquidity point. So I'm very interested to see how the next few days of the market will perform, especially with Mr. Powell speaking tomorrow and day after. But I want to go ahead and keep that in the back of my head as we're doing our technical analysis, and just mark out other key levels that we can mark out. I'm going to do this quick. There's no need for me to specifically mark out which is a 4-hour, 3-hour, and all of that for the time being. We're just trying to get an overall idea and structure for the market, because we will be doing pre-market analysis tomorrow morning as well, like always. But that is not going to be posted on the channel because that is my personal trading. But okay, I just cut out, but what I said was we will do this quickly in terms of marking everything. We don't specifically have to mark out that it's a 4-hour zone, because that's the rule for pre-market analysis before the actual market session. So there's that. But these seem to be the most significant ones, which we have marked out. Let's go on to 3-hour. See that. We've essentially just broken through all these levels, which is very good to see, but we have to see how the market will perform after that. Still just seeing that move up, and yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to be all, but we can mark this as a 1-hour as well as this. and mark this as a zone as well. Go ahead and mark these highs as well. Let's go back, see if there's any key levels back there, in which there clearly was. Okay. So what I want to definitely do is mark out a volume profile in order to see different aspects of how price recently reacted. So let's go ahead and mark that. And we do see that a lot of volume is being transacted down here. And that's pretty typical because that was the area where New York session had been transacted. So nothing too interesting to see there. We continue to expand this around there. Now, this is going to be very interesting because in this recent time frame, we have two areas of really high volume. And where does that align with? That aligns just really nicely with that 1 hour zone. So let's keep that in mind with the levels that we'll look out for tomorrow. And yeah, just volume there, volume down here at these lows as well. This is definitely going to be a key area. And this is also simply because of the wick. These two are in the lowest high volume node, and this zone is right at the closest high volume node. So that's essentially validating our different zones. Let's go ahead and extend it further. And now that is going to be a very good indicator and a very, very, very big sign of the validity and the actual importance of this 1 hour. We know that this is a 1 hour zone, but just because it's a 1 hour, we should not put it down compared to other zones. Simply because of how volume is distributed, that 1 hour is definitely going to be a very important level. Remember, cumulative volume delta, the CVD, or the volume profile, I mean, not the CVD. The volume profile is the only order flow tool that you can use right away on TradingView. And from it, you can see most of the volume is being transacted right there, aligning with that 1 hour. But we do have volume above as well. And we also have volume below. So there's that. But what I want to see is how price is reacting at that area through the footprint chart. So I want to go on to the 1 hour. And we typically do not do this, but we're getting to see how this may potentially provide us an edge. So right here on this 1 hour. And we do see that volume is very high right around these levels. Just take a look at this candle right here, right? Big aggressive buy candle. At the top of the candle, we're seeing large amounts of volume. Same with here. And with that large amounts of volume, it's showing us the importance of this level as a high volume node. From up there till down there. Pretty much in unison with each other. Which is very good to see. Now we do have volume here, which is also evident. But this is very important as it aligns with our chart as well. But let me think real quick. From what it looks to me, right, is that price had just broken out. Now, there are two decisions that price can make, simply from where we're seeing it at the moment. And looking at it, this does look to be a 1 hour as well. So these two are realistically going to be my main key levels that I'm going to be looking for, right? And that aligns with volume as well, because if you take a look, we wanted to notice that this was high volume, but we kind of shamed it. So we should not be shaming it just because it's not a zone. But these two areas are areas of high volume, which you've recently seen. Now, potentially might come back because it's an area where lots of volume is being transacted within these candles. And this is significant volume. Take a look at volume 174K, 86K, 194K, and majority of that volume is at these different levels. Now, this lower one definitely going to be more significant, but why do you think I'm highlighting these levels instead of these levels? Because as you can see, there's lots of volume going around near these tops. We'll take a look at the total candle volumes. It's very minimal because it's not in the main New York session. So want to be aware of that as well. Let me go ahead and delete these. These are different levels that allowed us to make a good setup for the market analysis video. So you can go check that out as well, but that's for the past. So that is an area where I'm looking for. I'm definitely thinking that price potentially may retrace either into this level or this level, which is validated by pure order flow data as well as volume profile, which is also order flow. But what I'm also looking to see is the validity of these areas, 6127, 6128 levels, right? So let's go into the past and see what that might hold if it allows us to. And unfortunately, on the 1 hour at least, it does not. Let's see on the 4 hour if it allows us to go farther back. $5.13. Okay, so unfortunately, it does not let us go back that far in time. Maybe if you go into the daily chart. Okay, if you go into the daily chart, we can see it right at 1, 2, 8-ish, right? It's gonna be right around Wednesday, June 11th. Okay, 1 second. June 15th is there. These two look different, kind of, but wait. Yeah, they are different. This is going to be a high, but then here we've broken the highs. So I want to refresh this. Interesting. ESU5. Okay, but anyways, if we just use these highs that we did mark out, we do see at the top of that candle that majority of volume is being distributed throughout the top. And that does give us a signal of the importance of that liquidity area up above. Also, if you take a look at these old areas, take a look how if we take a look that if we extend it, it really aligns with the volume that we've been having before as well. We've had major volume there and major volume there as well. Now it's just highlighted to another extent, and now we know where the actual level is simply with our technical analysis on the charts. And now again, these highs, a large amount of volume near these highs with this wick, and you can clearly see that. This is the 10th. This is the 11th. Okay, the daily chart looks a lot different. It's likely because might be on the wrong contract. So I will just switch to the right contract. ESU 2025. Let's go on to the daily chart. Yeah, it's just weird for some reason, I'm not gonna lie, but that's okay. But we do see lots of volume in this candle. although there is low volume at that candle, 758K. So I do not know about the pure significance of this upper level simply with order flow, but the volume delta should do us a good enough job to verify that for us. So I'm just going to extend and we do say that there's distributed volume throughout these areas. So this entire area price may want to head towards. But yeah, this video has been longer than it should have, but here are finally the preferable or preferred outcomes, right? We validated the importance and the actual significance of these two zones using order flow analysis. And we've also validated this with two being high volume areas in recent price action, especially this area right here. So what I like to see is I like to see either price head up and then potentially come down into one of these levels. And I do not particularly have a preference for either of that. Or we continue heading up towards one of these levels. And this I'll mark it green. That is one of my main preferable outcomes. Or we come down into these levels and then we make a move up. And I would honestly and low-key could see that happening. No, we don't need to mark that, but these are going to be preferable outcomes. And let me explain to you once again, last time. We validated these two levels. These two are going to be 1 hour zones, right? And those 1 hour zones have lots of volume inside of them, which you could have clearly seen by using the 1 hour footprint chart, because take a look at the volume at those areas, right? Look, out of this entire area, there are two areas, okay, out of this entire relative location, there are two specific areas that align with our charts that show significance because of the amount of volume that is there. This area is a 1 hour zone, and this is a very aggressive buying candle that had trouble breaking above this area, and lots of volume had been transacted at this area, as you can see. Now, we did eventually break through it, which shows that there's likely heavy buying intuition at this area that broke through absorption. And if that is the case, this potentially might be an area where lots of buyers are potentially looking to get in. Same with this. This would be the exact same case, but with less strength, simply because of the amount of volume in these candles as compared to these candles. But that's the thing that validates these two zones and gives them such significance. And for these upper levels, we saw volume with the volume profile, and if price continues to go up, these are definitely going to be areas that we're going to look and see a reaction from, hopefully. And those are going to be the main levels that we're going to be looking to see how price reacts. If we see that price reacts from one of these levels and we see signals that show us that we might potentially be able to gain a reversal play, we'll enter into a reversal play. Or if price already reacts and we see that price likely wants to head to the next level, we can wait for a retracement and enter into a simple retracement play. That's how we're going to use these levels, and that's why these levels are so significant. You can't just take a random point in time without marking these levels and aim for a retracement play. What if you're all the way down here, right? And you see price start to go up a bit, and you think, oh my god, it's a retracement. But what have we done? We've taken these lows before, and we're seeing major selling absorption at this area. And then buyers start to come in with aggression on the order flow. But we just think it's a retracement. We would get absolutely wrecked. That's the importance of understanding these levels and using order flow as well in order to validate and understand them from an actual market mechanic perspective. But honestly, that's all I have here for today. Except for one thing. I do want to see how the VIX moved from yesterday. And like our pre-week analysis, like we said, we did bounce from that area like such. So now we just have to see how the VIX, the volatility index, reacts from this relative area. If the volatility index can break through this area, we might be in for some more selling pressure. But from looking at how price action is looking here, it likely looks like we're gonna come down again, looking like price, which means that price is likely gonna head up more. So that is why this would be my main preferable outcome. Price to head up more, and then we see potential move down. So the top one is definitely going to be my more preferable outcomes. But anything could happen, and that is why we're prepared. Now, that's finally all I have here for today. If you have any questions, feel free to join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. There are many resources that I highly think you can get a thing or two out of, and everything is completely free. Additionally, if you want to take advantage of the order flow tools like Addis, which I've used here today, which is an official partner of the channel, you can start practicing even today for all for completely free, because you just want to practice using historical data, and you can get exactly such with only a 15-minute delay using Addis. So the link for that will also be in the description down below. I highly recommend you get to check it out. But that's all I have for you for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.